Me?
I don't know. We need to start the show.
We do.
Yay!
All right, here we go.
Okay.
All right, welcome in to episode number 17 of Shippy and Grubes. I'm Shippy,
I'm Grubes.
and we are here to talk to you about stuff.
Yay! I like stuff.
We're going to start off with the Cowboys. They're on a great roll. They've now won 2 games in a row.
That's really good.
Are you starting to believe?
No.
Me neither. Although I had somebody the other day was like asked me that, and he was trying to convince me that, hey, like, look, they could beat the Bengals on Monday when we have the Simpsons Altcast that I'm looking
that's
forward
right.
to. And then I think like the Panthers are up next, maybe. So they have a pretty winnable schedule, but I don't think it really matters.
They're gonna run the table, dog.
They're gonna run the table, and Dak is upset because he wants Mike McCarthy to go out on his own terms with Dak at quarterback. And when I saw this, like, I appreciate Dak for the sentiment because, you know, it's like, that's fair. Like, if you're going to lose your job, especially for a guy who went 12-5 the last 3 seasons before this disaster of a season, you would like him to go out with, you know, his full offense. I mean, the defense was missing a bunch of key players. They're finally starting to play well. But it just seems like, I don't know, it's like, is he being counterproductive to what the Dallas Cowboys franchise needs? Like, if you're Jerry Jones and Steven and you hear your franchise quarterback say this after all the things that have led up to this, you know, to this moment, is that a good thing or a bad thing?
I don't know. Like, I think Dak's just trying to, you know, maybe play it down the middle somewhat, but also kind of be a little pointed of, you know, hey, we want to do this with Jerry and, you know, Steven not meddling in everything.
Yeah.
And, you know, maybe just sees the writing on the wall that McCarthy might be gone no matter what. Like, it seems like Jerry, I've read a couple articles, I think in the morning news, where Jerry's been really pushing hard the last week or two, talking again about the collapse in Green Bay last year, you know, the playoffs, and how, you know, it's a lot more than just, oh, it's great that he goes 12-5 3 years in a row, but if he's just constantly getting us kicked out of the playoffs in the first round, then why not see if there's someone else to go for?
Well, and like the thing that's tough with that argument, if you're Jerry, is like you just paid the dude who threw those interceptions, who had an awful game after putting together a great regular season. You can make the argument that it's Dak and not McCarthy, you know, come playoff time. Because I mean, in the last, I don't know, 5 years, I think we have 1 playoff win, right, against the Bucks.
Yeah,
And that was it.
that's it.
Like,
So,
and that Bucks
I don't know.
team was not very good. Like, yeah, they had Tom Brady, but it was a shell of itself at that time.
Yeah.
You know, it was like they were not at all the same as the Bucks who won the Super Bowl, you know, a few years before that. So
yeah, so it's like, okay, so yeah, we bring Dak back, who was what, 3-7 or whatever, you know, before he got hurt.
Yeah.
Like, what good is that really going to do?
yeah, for me, I'm like, it seems like we finally had this thing all going one way where it's like, all right, the Cowboys are getting a new head coach.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll get it. Maybe they'll just clean house and get a new offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator. Like, there's really no strings attached.
Yeah, like I think everyone's deal expires after this year, basically.
Yeah, so it's just like, okay, we're finally kind of moving things forward, and then Dak hops into the conversation and says, hold on just a second. And in fairness to Dak, let's play, you know, for everybody, the clip of him fighting and, you know, basically sticking up for Mike McCarthy.
Yeah, that I believe in him wholeheartedly. I don't want to necessarily get into the nuts and the screws of it all, obviously, but I think he definitely deserves a chance, another contract, and a chance to coach this team amongst and kind of, I guess you can say, more influence on his terms. Maybe a good way to say it. But I wholeheartedly believe in him. The guys won a Super Bowl. I know Jerry's attested to that. There's not many guys or coaches who have done that, and to have one that can do it from experience, and I know how valuable he's been for me.
So I mean, I really like appreciate that. But as I was listening to that clip, I was just starting to think of all McCarthy's done it in the past.
Sure.
But let's find the next Sean McVay, the next, Ben Johnson from Detroit, the offensive coordinator. I mean, I think, what's the defensive coordinator from the Chargers? He's going to be a hot coaching candidate this offseason. That's who Harbaugh brought with him from Michigan. I can't remember his name right now. But it's. I think that's the problem is too
Jesse
much.
Minter?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Jesse Minter.
Thank you, Jesse Minter. I think that's going to be a big head coaching candidate this offseason. I think, but the thing that's tough is I feel like with Jerry Jones, he's looking for those safe head coaching options, right? Like he wants the Mike McCarthy, or maybe he can get Belichick to come out of retirement, which I feel like that would be too close to Parcells. Will there be such a fight for power and struggle? I don't think that's really, I don't think that's really an option. But
no, it's pretty unlikely unless Jerry just finally says, "Screw it, I'm gonna bring in Bill and let him just do everything."
Yeah,
but that just feels so unlikely, and it's like I think it's kind of what happened with Parcells, where I think Jerry gave him maybe the first season or so, but then it's like, they weren't consistently winning, so Jerry's like, well, I'll let him buy all the groceries and cook the meal, and we got nowhere with it. It tasted bad, so I'm going to go back to buying all the groceries. And so, I think it would be a short leash even for someone like Belichick.
Yeah. Well, and I just, again, I don't think I would see the dynamic working between the two of them. I think
it would be kind of fun to watch it implode.
I think that it would be great if it was on Hard Knocks. That could be fun.
That would be fun.
But I don't really see it happening. I wanted to bring this up from college football because it has ties to the Dallas Cowboys. This from our friend Matt Mosley.
I know him.
He was at the Baylor game, and he made a note that Baylor football put up the glare from AT&T Stadium in an effort to distract the KU kicker, and it worked.
That's a great bit.
That is an amazing bit. That's one of my favorite bits about college football is, I know some schools would put up, that squirrel that had, the evil eye. You know what I mean? I saw that some schools were using the Dwayne Wade statue as a kicker distraction. I think that's something we need to bring to the NFL is to allow the kicker distraction. If we're able to do it to the kids in college who are not very good for the most part,
right?
Why can't we distract Justin Tucker or Brandon Aubrey even? I think that's a great chance for bits. And I think the NFL needs a few more bits.
We always need more bits, and I do love that Jerry probably is aware of it.
Yeah.
I haven't heard him comment on it, but that's got to tick him off at least a little bit.
I don't know. I feel like at this point he's just...
Or it just makes him more dug in.
I think he's just embraced it. I think it's just hey, it is what it is. We know where the sun is. Do we know where the moon is? Or whatever he said.
Where's the moon?
I just think that he's just so dug into it. And on that same topic, this from our friend Mike Leslie at AccuWeather.com for the forecast on Thursday, November 28th, which was Thanksgiving when the Cowboys were playing.
Ooh.
Said today's weather, it said breezy and cooler with a blend of sun and clouds. Suns, we got multiple suns now. Watch for sun glare at the football game in Arlington, Texas. So,
gosh,
I love the more bits, the better.
Yeah, especially if it makes fun of the stupid sun curtain, non-curtain situation. And
speaking of another topic that has piqued a lot of people's interest recently, we talked about this a few weeks ago about how DeMarvion Overshown, who looked great in the Thanksgiving Day game.
Yeah, he was awesome.
While I was still awake, he tipped a pass to himself and returned it for a pick six. Badass play.
Mm-hmm.
He's a former Texas player. He tore his ACL, I believe, last year. He was out for the season pretty early on. But he's just shown flashes of greatness to where it's like Micah Parsons and him playing next to each other. Just a lot to look forward to in the future. Well, he's known as Agent Zero. And as we've talked about, the problem is he's not allowed to wear that number because Rowdy is number 00, which... in every other sport, you can have a 00 and a 0.
Yes.
So, and by the way, do they sell Rowdy jerseys?
Probably.
Like, why would this affect?
Well, I guarantee. Here, you look it up, and
Why
I'll
would?
look it up while you keep talking.
Yeah, like,
Would be funny if I told you to look it up while you talk.
well, we'll both look it up together.
Yeah.
But no, like, I'm pretty sure you can have, a 00 and a 0 in pretty much every sport. So I don't see how DeMarvion Overshown would take away from any potential Rowdy jersey sales. Like, I don't know, would they have to change his number to a star? Like, maybe the star
Maybe.
would be a better number.
I think that's kind of a cool idea.
Did you know that the last time, like, since Rowdy was invented, the Cowboys have not won a Super Bowl since then?
Really?
Yes, I saw it at, I don't want to, I'll give them free pub because that's how I figured it out, but Birdie's East Side, on their little, like, sign that they put funny notes on, they said that the year that Rowdy was introduced to the world, the day he was born into mascot-ism, I don't know. Infamy, yes. That was the last time. From that point on was no more Super Bowls for us.
What a stupid team.
What a stupid team. Well,
But yeah, and there's not even Rowdy jerseys that I can find
so you
for
can't.
sale.
So what does it hurt?
Right.
So,
God forbid we have a new jersey printed out for Rowdy. Yeah, like you said, make it the star, and
I think the star would be a great number for him.
that would look cool.
Yeah, like, and then it's just more of the logo, more
Right.
of the brand. Jerry,
Yay.
you can pay me royalties for this idea.
And then we can have Agent Zero.
And then we can have Agent Zero. Well, speaking of Jerry, he was on 105.3 The Fan with Sean and RJ and Bobby Belt, and they asked him, hey, there's been talk about giving Agent Zero his number back. What do you think of that possibility? And what does Jerry do? He responds with stories about Rowdy and just all the shenanigans that have involved him and his bus.
I'm reminded of we had a situation when we were at Wichita Falls with our training camp, and Rowdy was taking water guns out in that heat and squirting some of the fans in the wrong spots. And they would jump, but it cooled them off, and they kind of laughed about it and thought it was good, but still, it wasn't the thing to be doing. And I got a hold of him and told him, I said, man, you got to stop that stuff. You'll get us both thrown under the jail out here. And be shooting that stuff, because you could knock a water bottle down at 50 feet with that water gun. So it would cool you off real good about it. So he said, I'll do better. It hadn't been a month later. We're back in Dallas, and the Rowdy wagon is found outside a strip place about 2 a.m. And of course, Rowdy basically uses that van for all kinds of birthday parties and all of those kinds of things. And it just is not the place to have it. Well, there it was in the paper, a big shot of the Rowdy van sitting in front of the strip club. So I bring him in, and boy comes in, but he doesn't have his Rowdy outfit on. It's the real boy. And I'm saying, now look, I said, this is the twice I've visited with you about an issue of something like this. And I said, do you understand this is getting old, and I want this stuff to stop. You're just right there on the edge, out of bounds every time I look up. And he looked over at me and he said, Mr. Jones, I'll talk to Rowdy about it. Right there, with no outfit on at all. He says, I'll talk to Rowdy about it. I said, son, first of all, I like to have died. Well, how do you not love somebody that can give you that kind of reply? He's absolutely the best Rowdy that I think we've ever had, and I miss him just because of his dare to be greatness about his activities.
That's amazing.
So
What?
he's not helping the theory that Jerry Jr. is Rowdy. That's been the long time theory, like pretty much since I got into radio, 22 years ago. Like that's always been one of the running jokes with Gordo, is that Jerry Jr. is actually Rowdy because that's the best job that they could get him.
Could get him. There's a lot to unpack there.
There's a lot. Like, I'm sorry that I started there because...
No, it's okay.
Like, so, to be clear, what was the question that led into it? Was it about Rowdy's number? If
they were asking him, let me find the original tweet.
yeah, sorry.
No, it's okay. I forgot the guy's name, but basically they were asking him, like, they asked him about giving him Overshown or giving Overshown his number.
Okay, yeah.
So the question was, hey, like, is there any way that Overshown will get his number back?
Mm-hmm.
We're hoping, just what's the possibility of making him Agent Zero? Because he put a tweet out saying that he would get it back. And then there's been other things, like I've seen Jay Tuck on Twitter. He posted a thing where they asked Rowdy about it, and Rowdy you could tell like Rowdy wasn't real happy about it, like that it was brought up how he has his number. But yeah, they just asked him, hey, is there any possibility to getting Overshown number 0, the number that he wants?
And instead we got stories about Rowdy shooting people in the balls with a water gun.
Yeah, or other areas. I don't know. Like he just said they were inappropriate spots.
I assume it was the crotch, but
I assume so too. But
maybe it was the butt.
And then it was like, and then in addition to that, he's like, man, it was so funny. He had the Rowdy van outside a strip club at 2 a.m. And it's like, and then he goes on to say that was his favorite Rowdy.
Yeah.
Like he's like, man, if you can have the wit to say, I'll ask Rowdy about it, you're all right in my book. It's like, God, dude.
That's the guy running the team.
That's the guy running the whole show.
It's like, well, if he says he'll talk to Rowdy about it, then I about died laughing. And, yeah, what a king.
I mean, like...
basically, Overshown is never getting that number.
I think there will be enough public pressure that maybe they'll give him 0 and Rowdy can still be 00, but I don't, like...
I think this is going to become a curtain situation.
You think so?
I think so.
Where every year, like, do you think Overshown Level just request a trade? He's like, all right, I'm gonna go play somewhere where the mascot doesn't have my number.
Right, he doesn't get priority over me, a potential really, really good player.
And you know what's crazy too that I really enjoyed about that clip is that Jerry let us know that he talked to Rowdy and Rowdy came into his office and he wasn't in his costume.
I do appreciate that too.
Can you imagine he walked into his Rowdy costume and Jerry's talking to him? He's like,
yeah, right.
Like
it's like, how does he? Yeah, how would you know that he was sad?
Right,
or just oh shucks.
I don't even know. Does Rowdy's mouth move? Like I know Champs does, but I don't think Rowdy's does. I think
it's just a stupid,
always
stupid smile. Yeah,
God. It's a terrible smile too.
It's not the greatest.
Ah, man, I started to love the Cowboys again. Now I hate them again. Like just when just when they started to redeem themselves, they totally screw it up again. Oh, what a stupid football team.
That's enough of them.
You know who I do love though?
Who?
Jameis Winston.
Me too.
He just keeps on giving us not only just entertaining games. I was watching the Stars instead of the Monday Night Football game, but I missed quite the Jameis performance.
I got to watch a decent chunk of it, and it was entertaining to say the least. It was wild ass.
It was the full Jameis experience.
Yes.
I think he threw for like almost 400 yards.
I believe so.
4 touchdowns, but he threw 2 pick sixes.
Mm-hmm.
And before we get into what he said after that game, I want to play some audio for you guys of Jameis Winston trying to get the Steelers to jump off sides the week before, because I think this is just peak Jameis Winston.
What's that? 180? What's that? Yeah. 180? What's that? Hot. Terrible. What's that? Somebody jump off sides. Damn.
Then it says screw it.
Yeah, he just says screw it. Call timeout.
Yeah, I love his voice. He even lost his voice for a moment trying to get everyone to.
Come on! Somebody jump off sides. Damn. And can you imagine, like, if I'm on the Steelers, like, I'm cracking up at that point,
right?
Like, laughing,
you gotta be.
Like the fact that because you want to take it. It's competition. It's a game. You want to win, whatever. But just in the middle of the game to have that moment where you're just like, damn, like I'm doing everything I can.
Right.
Over here. Jump off sides.
Just please help me out.
And on their side, like they've all been told, like their coaches before, like, hey, look, he's gonna try to get you to jump off sides. Do not jump.
Right.
Like I don't know what the down and yardage situation was there, but it's just like that they were coached in that moment Whatever
Yeah.
you do, do not jump off
Hold the
sides. No matter how hard he yells, no matter if his voice cracks, if
how
he
much
says,
he moves.
Yeah, like just do not, no, under any circumstances. So that's Jameis audio clip number 1. This is Jameis audio clip number 2 after he threw those 2 pick sixes that I just mentioned.
I know I'm better than this. I know I'm just praying for the Lord to deliver me from pick sixes.
Dude,
He's so great.
I imagine him like, before he goes to sleep every night, he's praying before bed. He goes, Dear God, thank you so much for life and this opportunity to play football. But please deliver me from those pick sixes. Amen. And then goes to sleep.
It's like, all right, break.
We got it. Break. That'd be great.
He doesn't say amen.
He just says, all right, break.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so I'm rooting for Jameis. I think there's a good chance that they may. I don't know. I mean, if you're the Browns, I don't think Deshaun Watson ever goes under center for you ever again. I think even if you don't draft a quarterback this next thing, I think you just ride it out with Jameis Winston.
See how long the magic lasts.
I mean, Jerry Jeudy had the night of his career. He had 255 or 95 receiving yards against the Broncos, who drafted him, then traded him to Cleveland. Elijah Morris had a career renaissance with Jameis under center. I mean, I don't know how many football games will win for you or how many Super Bowls, but I don't think quarterback's the issue. If he really can be delivered from those pick sixes, that's a really solid starting quarterback, especially if you look around the league these days. You don't see a lot of guys throwing for those touchdowns and those passing yards.
No, but I did see something on, I think it was Twitter, speaking of the pick sixes, where someone said, look, James is happy to throw touchdowns. He just, whoever scores.
Yeah, he doesn't care who scores.
Yeah, he just is happy to throw touchdowns.
I mean, that
kind of lines up.
It does line up. It checks out. Now I want to take you to Buffalo. Did you watch the snow game?
It was pretty awesome.
I watch any game that's in the snow. I've watched almost this entire game just because I love watching football in the snow. And I got to see one of the greatest plays I think I've ever seen in football history.
Shakir completed. This is behind Cooper, who brought it in. Pitched it back to Allen, who's going to go to the goal line and get in! No!
So
awesome.
He throws to Amari Cooper on a little dig route. Amari catches it. He's got 2 guys on his back, laterals it to Josh Allen, who goes around and leaps into the end zone for the touchdown. You've seen the Chiefs try this a lot. You've seen Travis Kelce throw the ball backwards a few times in the same kind of hook and lateral type play. Yeah. What I really enjoyed was the audio of Josh Allen on the sideline following the play.
Allen under center, takes the snap, thrown behind, but somehow caught, and now lateral to Allen, and reaching for the pylon. It's a touchdown.
Holy cow. That didn't just happen. You wanted it, right?
Yeah, absolutely I wanted it. Come on.
You didn't tell him throw it to you? You just
No, I just right there, and I put my hands down, and he did it. Is it a passing touchdown? I wouldn't get a passing and a receiving. I would assume it's a pass, but it's a rushing.
You get a rushing.
I would assume
he gets a catch, you get a rushing.
Yeah.
You got a receiving touchdown.
You got a receiving pass?
I'm not going to ask any questions. I love football.
I would too if I was that good.
Dude, oh my God, he's amazing. And that was, if you saw afterwards too, they had Josh Allen, because that was the first thing I thought when I saw that play was fantasy football. How does that score?
Yeah.
So it counts as a passing touchdown from Josh Allen to Josh Allen, who caught the receiving touchdown. So that's 10 points plus the yards. And Amari Cooper just gets a point for the catch if you're in a PPR league. And I guess the yards, I don't know how that plays out. But
hell if I know.
They were talking after the game because Chris Collinsworth was like, I started you on my team. And Josh Allen was like, yeah, so did I. Basically, he was pumped that he got all those points.
Yeah. That's amazing.
So, and he's the first, he had a rushing touchdown as well. He's the first player in NFL history to have a passing touchdown, receiving touchdown, and rushing touchdown all in the same game.
Good Lord.
So, Josh Allen.
Pretty good.
Incredible. Could be MVP. Probably between him and Saquon, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
I think it should be Saquon, but I think I'm probably Josh Allen just because quarterbacks.
I was going to say quarterbacks typically win.
So, And I don't really
Jerks.
want the Eagles to get anything.
No, they don't deserve happiness ever.
Even if it's like rational, like, oh,
Yeah.
hey, he deserves
No,
it. I'm
he's
still
great.
like, nah, I don't think he
Yeah,
should.
I'd love to have Saquon on my team, but I don't want him to be happy while he's an Eagle.
Did you see what happened with the Detroit Lions, aside from beating the Chicago Bears on Thanksgiving?
Now, and them, God, that Bears play. We don't need to go into that, but
Are you
the
talking
final
about
play?
the very end,
yeah,
and Matty
not calling the
Eberflus got
timeout, and
Matty
holy
Eberflus
crap.
got fired right after the game.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was a just a total mismanagement of game
Yeah.
clock. Like, I don't like. They didn't take the timeout. They went, and here was the funniest part that I saw somebody point out online. They approached the line, time's ticking off the clock, and Caleb Williams was adjusting his wristbands.
brutal. Yeah.
Like, he's adjusting his wristbands,
Yeah.
getting ready for the play. Meanwhile, there's like 6 seconds left. They snap it, and he throws like a 40-yard pass that lands incomplete as time expires. So that happened.
Yeah.
After the game, Jahmyr Gibbs was in the locker room and went to go to TikTok,
oh dear.
and behind him is a whiteboard with a ton of the plays and code words for the Detroit Lions offense. I can see there's one named Julia Roberts, Caitlyn Jenner, Khloe Kardashian, Winfrey Ellen, Karate Belt, Red Blue Spider, Red Blue Gold, Torch Flame, Fire Lava. Does that say Cooks Miller? And then Purdue, Michigan, Wolverine.
Whoops.
So they're like, did you realize that you basically let everybody, the rest of the NFL, know what our code words are? And Dan Campbell, after the game, was asked about it, and he said he was unaware of it, but he said he would rather our stuff not be out there. Then he offered a firm no comment. And then he told reporters that the Lions would have bigger issues if they lose a game because some code words were leaked online. He said, I don't really give a crap. If we're going to lose because of code words, then we're not good enough anyway. I think we'll just post the whole freaking playbook and every code word we've got. It doesn't matter. It's not going to hurt us. Dude, that guy.
That escalated.
It
was like
escalated.
no comment,
He
and then
went
all of a
from,
sudden
like-
it's like, you know what? Screw it. Maybe we just. It's almost like Jerry with why don't we build a whole damn stadium?
Let's
then
tear the whole damn thing
it's
down.
like, no, Dan. Like we're just, are you okay with this? And could just said no. Like we'll handle it in house, or
mean-
even just saying like, yeah, like if people see a few of our code words, like if we lose because of that, then we got bigger problems. We're not as good a team as we thought.
Well, and
But-
don't they change the code words probably
Probably.
every week?
Well, I was gonna say with all the different trades and releases, like players are moving
Well, and-
constantly. Like you gotta, I'm sure, have a core of certain words, but
Right,
it's like
right.
you can only change things so much before you're confusing all the guys that are still there.
Yeah, and you think about it too. Like, I mean, when you watch film, you're watching, you hear them yell these things out, and whether you can see exactly what changed or not. Like, I mean, if you add that film up over, I mean, what we're about to enter week 14, 13. Well, I guess they probably had their bye, so 12 weeks of film.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure there's some repetitiveness in there that people have already picked up on some of those code words. Like, did you want to put it out on TikTok? Definitely not. Like,
No.
you definitely want to make them do that work to figure out what, exactly, to know exactly what those code words mean. But I like the way that he just kind of embraced it. He's like, screw it.
Yeah.
Like, we'll just post the whole damn playbook.
Yeah, and like you were kind of saying, like there's literally coaches that are being paid to work 20 hours a day to sit and watch film and decode every single one of those. They're making spreadsheets or whatever the hell and slicing film together
Yeah.
and all that. Where there's always people working on that, but it's a matter of how well do you execute and keep them guessing and all that.
Yeah. I appreciate, I don't think he had to go that far, but I appreciate Dan Campbell's response to that, where he's like, look, if we get beat because of these code words, then we're not good enough.
Yeah, that's our
anyways.
problem.
But look at them. Like, they've lost so many great players on their defense, mostly their defense. I don't think they've really lost anybody offensively, but they just keep churning. Like, they just keep winning. It doesn't matter who they play. They're incredible. Like, I really hope, would be nice if they won the Super Bowl this year and we finally got, a non-Chiefs year. Like, I think
That would be
the
nice.
city of Detroit deserves it. I think Dan Campbell deserves it. And it would be cool to see Jared Goff, who the Rams just kind of got rid of to go all in on a Super Bowl, go to the team that they just kind of shipped him off and go win one on his own.
That'd be pretty badass.
So, one more NFL thing before we're going to get to some local sports
Yay.
stuff. I got to play this because you sent this to me, and I'm not sure if you know what he said he
Nope.
had, but I just want to play this and see if anybody can figure it out.
Man, when I'm mostly excited to eat today, man, it's gonna be that cool. Man, my cousin, they called me last night and told me they killed the cool 2 days ago. They took the clothes off and everything, washed them up. Yeah, we about to dive into that today, man.
Come on, man. Shout out to you, man. Happy Thanksgiving, brother.
Happy Thanksgiving, dog.
He say Cool Whip?
I don't know.
Cool?
But that's was it Xavier Leggett?
Yeah.
And he is awesome.
I love him. Like,
I want to be friends with him.
me too.
I might have said that last week,
We
but I
should
don't
try
care.
to, I bet we should try to get him on the podcast.
I bet he'd do it.
I bet so.
We wouldn't understand what he's saying, but it'd
It
be
doesn't
fun.
matter.
We'd still be smiling and laughing
We'd be
because
smiling and laughing.
he's got an awesome energy.
No, he really does. And like the fact that he's wearing that turkey hat too, like just totally is the cherry on top there. All right, now let's talk a little Mavericks basketball.
Whoa. Sports.
9-1 in their last 10. They went from 12th to 3rd in the West in 18 days, and Luka only played in 4 of those games, I think.
Is Luka the problem?
Is Luka the problem? Dude, it's funny how many people were like saying that. But so here's what I think, honestly. I think that I think his wrist really was hurt. I think he had a leg thing he was probably dealing with too. Like, he never really got healthy over the summer because after we went on the finals run, he literally just left and went and played overseas all summer. What I think that breaks like that for Luka and for the team are good because when you have Luka on the team, obviously he's a ball dominant player. You want the ball in his hands. You want him taking a lot of the shots. But I think when he takes that week off, he's not only resting, but he's also watching the rest of his squad, seeing what they're good at because they do get more opportunities. Like, I think it helps him trust his teammates more. Like, I think it helps him get a better understanding of his team while he's resting, and having Kyrie run the show. Because I think, it's a more involved offense for everybody.
Yeah.
I don't mean that as a shot to Luka or anything.
But no, but it makes sense. And yeah, it's kind of like, coming from, hockey and stuff where you hear about players that get healthy scratched or are injured and they're sitting up in the, top level in the press box and they get a different perspective. They're able to kind of see spacing differently and, just how things kind of flow.
Yeah.
And I could see that working where, when you have Luka on the floor, you're going to get him the damn ball as much as you can because he's insanely good.
Insane.
But then, when he's hurt and you still have a guy like Kyrie that can lead the offense easily because he's that awesome and smart about basketball and all that and just understands spacing probably almost maybe better than Luka at times, maybe.
I don't know.
Or just, I don't know, like... But at the
I think
least
they're
that
both,
different
like-
perspective,
Yeah.
for Luka, that makes a lot of sense. And then, letting him see, more fully where the other guys shine. Damn, that makes a lot of sense, Shippy.
Thanks, man.
I've learned a lot today.
I just think, it's because the thing that I was worried about, or not really worried about, but I was curious when Luka came back, how he would just kind of fit into the offense. And last night we got a good look at that with the Grizzlies in town. And, you still had possessions where obviously Luka dominated the ball, but you could also see he's starting to hit Quentin Grimes in the corner. They're still they're still going through some growing pains together. Like, that's the thing is they got off to a slow start, and they're like the Mavericks have a tendency to get off to some slow starts. But this last 10 games, let me pull up these stats. These last 10 games, with or without Luka, they've been like the 3rd best team. Here we go. Let's see. Last 10 games, 2nd in net rating, 4th in offense, 7th in defense, 9-1 record, and Luka only played in 4 of those games.
Yeah.
And so I really do. I think it was a great thing for Luka and the team because it also lets the other guys get some opportunities, kind of feel comfortable. And and just kind of find the way that they fit in the offense, with everybody else.
Yeah.
So
Makes sense to me.
speaking of fitting in the offense, he didn't play last night. He's been out for a little bit, and I don't want to toot my own horn, but Najee Marshall, he got off to a kind of a slow start, but he went, I think, 5 straight games with 20-plus points for the first time. He's turned into his nickname is the Knife because he's a Swiss Army knife. He does everything.
It's a badass nickname.
It is a badass nickname. And, dude, so anytime he checks in or he scores, I play the clip from Crocodile Dundee where he says, "That's a knife."
That makes me happy.
I don't know if anybody can hear it, but I do it for the people who can and for my own enjoyment. But no, I mean, he's been incredible. Quentin Grimes has had an incredible run recently while Luka was out.
Yeah.
He also looked really good yesterday. Spencer Dinwiddie against the Grizzlies hit back-to-back huge threes from basically the same spot. PJ's getting his game going.
Things are happening.
Dude, this team is legit. And we talked about it before. And
you were hyped about them, obviously, in the preseason. And I believe you specifically mentioned Najee Marshall.
I did, because I watched a lot of Pelicans at Bally.
That's right, yeah.
I was like, dude, this guy's good.
Yeah.
And so when we got him instead of Derrick Jones Jr., I love Derrick Jones Jr., and I would have loved for him to come back, but I was almost more excited about Najee because I think offensively he is a better player.
Mm-hmm.
And you've seen it. He's in the post. He can score on the post. He can dribble. He can run the offense. He's almost like a bigger Dante Exum that the Mavericks used last year to kind of spell Luka and Kyrie when they needed somebody else to run the offense. And so it's just like you look at the roster and they are just stacked.
It's awesome.
It's awesome, and there are opportunities to get better. The Dallas Mavericks have emerged as a team that could possibly acquire Jimmy Butler or would look into it. If he decides he wants out of Miami or if Miami looks to trade him.
Nice.
The Mavericks and the Rockets both have been reported as potential suitors in a trade for Jimmy Butler.
I'd be down for J Butt.
I would too. Sorry. But the only thing that I worry about with that is just and I mean, I think for the Mavericks to win a title, you probably have to make a trade like that if you want to beat Boston at the end. Because that's who is probably going to come out of the East, right? I don't see. I mean, I think the Knicks got worse. The Pacers have gotten off to a pretty poor start. I just don't really. The Bucks aren't very good. So I mean, unless you're getting a guy like Giannis or Jimmy Butler, but even then, I just love the chemistry of this Mavericks team. You can tell that they love the group of guys that they have together. The culture with the Dallas Mavericks right now, I'm not sure since 2011 has ever been better.
The vibrations are immaculate.
They are immaculate. Let's see. The Dallas Stars got some tough news today where Tyler Sagan's going to be out 4 to 6 months. He's been battling a bad injury. It's something with his hip, and then I forget what the other thing was called. It was something I hadn't even heard of that he was having surgery
Yeah, it
on.
scares me, but and it sucks. It was the opposite hip of the one that caused him trouble last year, or I guess 2 years ago, and took him out for a long time.
Well, and that was the recovery where he had to was that where he had to learn how to walk again?
Basically, yeah, because I don't know, the surgery sounded horrendous.
Yeah, I didn't even finish that article because I was reading it, and it was gruesome stuff. Like muscle off the bone.
That's what I was gonna say. Where it's I don't want to think about that.
Yeah. So thoughts and prayers to Tyler Sagan.
T's and P's.
T's and P's. He's gonna be welcoming a new baby soon during this time, so that's kind of cool. I actually see his in-laws all the time. I'm friends with
I guess they are kind of right in front of you.
Yeah,
and
his
stuff.
father-in-law always brings me Pete. He always brings me popcorn, which I really appreciate during the game. So
shout out to Pete.
Shout out to Pete and the rest of the Sagan clan. We appreciate you guys and hope he comes back healthy, hopefully in the Stanley Cup final.
Hey,
because that would be about the timeline. If it goes 6 months, that would be June.
Yeah, pull was it Golden Knights thing.
So that's the thing is now you're going to put him on LTIR. So that frees up $9.6 million, I think.
Man.
So the Stars could go out and make a big trade, which is exciting.
Yeah.
But it's also I haven't even really. I think it's too soon to kind of know who's going to be out there, in terms of trade and who people might want to get rid of, and what the Stars would target and what they'd have to give up. But
yeah, you don't want to lose Segi, but if you are, that is, I guess, one kind of bright spot is you can do a bit of maneuvering and maybe bring in some guys that can help out. And yeah, if he recovers closer to the 4-month range, then maybe he can come back for the playoffs and Bob's your uncle.
Yeah, and yeah.
Have you heard that term before?
No, I haven't.
I don't know. It's from like I heard it from Austin Powers. But it's like a British thing where it's just like everything's good.
Oh, okay. I like it. Bob's
Thank
your
you.
uncle.
Yeah.
No, and like I was kind of hoping, like with the injury and him going on IR the other day, I was like, man, maybe the Stars now can Vegas this thing, and like he's hurt, but he just kind of rests and he gets better, and then he comes back in the playoffs, 100% Tyler Seguin back on the line with Marchment and Duchesne, and then today it was like surgery out 4 to 6 months. I saw the graphic that the Stars posted, and without just seeing it, without being able to see any of the letters, I was like, or what it said, I was like, yeah, this is probably bad news.
Yeah, if you see a wall of text and attribute it to the general manager, usually not good.
But good news, since their November 9th loss in Winnipeg, this is from Brian Ray, the Dallas Stars have an 8-3 record, 3.91 goals for, 2.64 goals against, 31 5v5 goals scored, and they're shooting at a 12.8% clip, which is 4th best in the league in that time. So things are looking up.
They really are.
There was a tough little run there for them, but things are looking up, and we'll see what. I mean, if there's anybody I trust in this town to put a winner around the Dallas Stars, it's certainly Jim Nell. I have a couple more fun sports clips I want to hit before we get into some non-sports. I apologize. See, he wore a sports hat.
I was ready.
But this is Charles Barkley talking about Wemby and San Antonio.
Sir, you know what's really... Oh, look at this thing, oh, my goodness. Check, you know what's weird about Wemby? He's like the only person in San Antonio who can't gain weight. I will give you credit for that one, Chuckster. Who you talking about, Chuck? Hey, man, I don't understand why this is the only skinny person in San Antonio.
I don't know what San Antonio did to him, but
he's had a blood vendetta against them for 30 years.
It's been incredible.
And I do love every time Chuck has a great line, Shaq always has to ask him to repeat it in some way.
Yeah.
What was that, Chuck?
Yeah, just to make sure you're going to double down on this. All right, and then one last thing. We had the Texas A&M versus Texas game. Texas won, and two... I believe they're students. There were two men wearing reflective vests and hard hats. They entered the stadium with fake construction credentials. Well, they were arrested for criminal trespass because they were trying to get into the game as construction workers and then stick around and watch it. And their fake credentials, which this is probably what gave it away. They didn't really do themselves any favors. It was very Bart Simpson of them. Their names were Harry Ascrack and Duncan McCockiner.
I get it.
So they got arrested. I'm not sure really what the like how much trouble they're going to be in.
Execution.
Like hopefully they shouldn't get in a lot of trouble, but yeah, I thought it was pretty funny that that's how desperate they were to get into what was the most expensive game ever.
Yeah. I think they flew too close to the sun. Like, sounds like they might have had a chance. You know, generally, if I've learned anything from watching movies, if you just kind of walk in and look confident and are wearing some sort of a high-vis jacket or, you know, holding a clipboard, you can usually get anywhere.
Yeah.
But then, you know, the moment that they check your credential and it says Harry Ascrack.
Yeah, that's going to be tough.
Yeah. It's a good bit, though.
To say Mr. Ascrack.
Right.
You know, like...
Yeah. Like, hey, I respect the effort. I just don't know if the execution was there.
I wonder if they were looking for the headlines, though, you know?
I was going to say, they probably...
Were they looking to get caught?
Right, where they're okay with either result. Either they get in for free and get to hang out and watch the game, or they get a little notoriety for being funny.
Well, how would you like... the notoriety of getting a felony charge over Cane's dipping sauce.
Oh my!
This is a Florida woman. No surprise there. So basically, she went to Raising Cane's, and fast food workers failed to include her 8 sauces in her mobile pickup order, which isn't like $1 per sauce extra.
Just about, yeah.
They definitely charge extra, which, I mean, I get it. If you paid for 8 sauces, I want my 8 sauces.
Yeah.
Well, the problem was she basically later discovered that she was missing her 8 packs of cane sauce. She returned to the restaurant and spoke to a female manager who provided her with the dipping sauce. When she declined her request that she be provided with extra sauces in return for, quote, wasting her time and gas, she became hostile both verbally and physically and began yelling in the eatery, disturbing staff and customers. And she basically hit an employee.
Ooh.
And now and then she was taken to jail where she got out on $2,500 bond. Over Cane's dipping sauce. Do you even like Cane's dipping sauce?
I do like Cane's
I love
and their dipping sauce. There's one fairly close to my place, and we have definitely hit that up a few times since moving to the current residence that we're at. And
Did you want to give the address?
Nope.
Okay.
But it's good call.
Thanks. I was just wondering.
I was going to say, I've done that before with people. What's your specific address? And then
the worst is like the
what?
phone number on Kavanaugh gave his phone number out on the
yeah.
radio one time. I think he did it twice. Actually.
I think he did it at the Freak too.
And I'm like, dude, like you think you would learn? He's like, his phone was overheating. Like he couldn't use his phone because so many people were texting him. And like, I hate it. Like, and I don't hate it, but you know, you get like an Instagram message from somebody, whether it's a nice message or a request, or hey, do you know what song this was? Or hey, this is a good topic for your podcast. The problem with opening the message and letting them, they're like responding to them, is that then after that they can talk to you whenever they want and you get the notifications. So it's like, I wish there was a way, like that part bothers me. I can't imagine giving my phone number out on the radio or a podcast or something and just all like the crazy messages that would lead to after that. Like you would have to change your number. And I don't think Kavanaugh's changed his number ever. So all these people still have his number.
No, they absolutely do, because we wound up talking about it on the Freak, and you know, a few people that were listening texting were like, "Yeah, dude, I still got your number."
Oh my god!
And then I think he actually gave it out again, just for fun. So he just doesn't care. Cavs is crazy like that.
He doesn't care.
He's silly like that.
He is silly like that. You know who else is silly like that? The owners of a $4 million Connecticut mansion. This for Thanksgiving, they fried a turkey in their garage.
Okay.
And what do you think happened?
Explosives?
Their house burned down.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, if you've fried a turkey before, there is a chance for fire.
Yeah.
And if you're going to do it in there with your, in your garage, there's a lot more flammable things around. And typically you like put cardboard or something underneath it. Like you don't want obviously the grass to catch fire. Like that's the last thing you want. Well, this fire happened and they were able to self-evacuate. All 40 of them.
Man.
There was 40 people. And then it took a 16-hour battle with the blaze, but the fire department and they were unable to save the home.
Oh.
So their whole house burned down. $4 million and 40 people in there, and they probably didn't even get to have any turkey that day.
I was gonna say they probably burned the hell out of it.
So
yeah, I think I've never actually fried a turkey. I've been in the presence of it happening.
Yeah.
But yeah, my understanding is like if it's not thawed enough or you put too much oil or whatever, like it's a bad combination, because like I think if it's not thawed enough, then all that extra moisture, mixes with the oil and that's usually I think what causes
it. And if you look at it, it's like literally boiling. Like it looks very hazardous.
Yes.
But the good news is there are fryers out there that are infrared cookers that aren't like super expensive. That's what my dad uses, and I actually helped my dad with the turkey this year because like I want to eventually do all that stuff, right? Like make the turkey and all that. So I made it a real point to like go and pay attention and like just like fuck, because my dad makes an amazing turkey. Like all these people who talk crap about turkey, it's just because whoever's making a turkey is not doing it right. Like there's a lot of like prep and time that goes into it if you want to have a good turkey. Well, my dad has like an infrared turkey, and it's like less than $100.
Really?
So you literally just set it inside, and you can smoke you can fry other stuff in there. Like you can put like chicken, you can put like prime rib. It's not just for turkeys, but there's no oil necessary. So you literally just set it in there, put the temperature gauge in there, just watch the temperature. When it gets to the temperature you want, take it out, and it's ready to go.
That's badass.
Yeah. So I would give them a shout out, but like they're not paying us.
I was going to say, until Gordy books them for us.
Yeah.
Then we'll name the company.
Gordy, I'll text you.
Yeah.
About 20% of Americans are getting their news regularly from influencers on social media.
Like Shippy and Grubes.
See, and if you get it from here, like you might have like a few stats where it's like, oh, it was 255, not 295.
Yeah.
Look, it's, what's that really matter in the end?
Among friends,
yeah, we're just hanging out here.
Right.
You can go look it up if you want.
Yeah.
I won't be mad. But
trust but verify.
Yeah, and I do verify. I do verify everything. Like I put a lot of effort into it, look everything up. But
sometimes we talk about things that we weren't planning on talking about, and we're not magical.
Like that time we found out that we had another moon for a little bit. By the way, that should have been gone recently, right? That was like around Thanksgiving that we were supposed to lose it. Did you ever see it?
No.
Maybe that's what Jerry was talking about.
Ooh.
Is which moon?
Okay. Now we're on to something. So maybe Jerry's, he deserves more credit than we gave him.
See, and if you're going to be like the 20% in this article, you'll take that news and go report it as facts.
Right.
Which is not what we're suggesting.
No.
We're just suggesting that may have happened. But no, I get it though. Like how many times have you seen on Facebook, like have you seen like those AI generated things or like the fake things, but people will share them as real news. And like, at first I would see it. And the first problem is that I said Facebook. That's where I see the majority of this stuff. You don't really see it on X or Instagram that much, but like I will see it on Facebook. And I know your Facebook's probably the same as mine, where like you're almost to the 5,000 friend limit or add it. I have it, but I leave a little bit of wiggle room in case I need to add like somebody that I actually know. But it's like my entire Facebook friend list is nobody that I actually know. So I see a lot of this stuff shared.
Yeah, it's 20 years of Facebook. Like that's a lot of people who get a little bit maybe older or a little more out of touch, potentially. Yeah. Not all, but the ones that do like kind of start to believe everything they read and, don't really find a way to verify it and it is tougher to verify news than it was, even a few years ago, but still there's ways to go about it. But there are some people that just everything that they read, doesn't matter how, bad the story is, how pixelated the graphics become, the photos.
Yeah.
Where it's like, okay, this clearly was altered in some way.
Well, and like some of these sites or whatever that are just doing it for clicks or laughs or just because they think it's funny to mess with people, like they'll make those like legit like flyers or not flyers, but like graphics where it's like the player picture and then a quote next to it, and then you're reading it and you get halfway through and you're like, wait a minute, there's no way this guy
this
said
is
that.
Ballsack Sports.
Yeah.
Have you heard of that?
Is that real?
Yeah. Like it's a parody sports Twitter account.
I was gonna say, dude, we should start Ballsack Sports.
No, like every now and then, like something will pop up and people will be like, dude, you just got ball sacked.
That's amazing. I did not know. I'm learning so much today too.
I'll have to show you later.
Do you want to know something that I learned today as well?
What?
We live in one of the worst metro cities for package theft.
Ooh.
The 10 worst cities for package theft in 2024. Number 1, New York City. 2, Philadelphia, because they all hate each other. Number 3, Chicago. Number 4, Washington, D.C. 5, Houston, Texas. So at least we're better than them.
Of course.
6, Atlanta, Georgia. 7, Charlotte, North Carolina. Number 8, Dallas, Fort Worth, Texas, with Boston and Cleveland rounding out the list.
Okay.
So be careful this holiday season. Watch your package very closely.
Always watch your package.
It could be stolen at any moment.
And don't get ball sacked.
Don't get ball sacked. Please don't do that. Let's see here. What are we going to talk about now?
I don't know.
Dude, there's this drug dealer in England.
Oh, no.
And he made a 1 in a million mistake. He was texting, I guess he has like a group chat.
Mm-hmm.
And he sent a message. He said, Sorry, I gotta find the quote here. He said, "Is anybody interested in some crack cocaine?" And what happened was he basically he sent the incorrect phone number because he got one of the numbers wrong, where he changed one number and it happened to go to a police officer instead. And so the detectives were like, I guess there was a drugs line in Surrey in March that they found, like, that they were aware of, but they just couldn't pinpoint it. And because of this, they were able to find it. And so, yeah, he had some heroin, 2 grams of cannabis, which, I mean, that's not a lot. And he had a wrap of crack cocaine. I don't know what a wrap is. But yeah, he sent a message seeing if he could fancy anybody for some crack cocaine.
Like to have a go.
And got arrested. So
that's kind of awesome. Have you ever accidentally texted someone because, like, it doesn't happen to me with, like, phone numbers.
Yeah.
But now, like, the way when you try to start a text and you type in a letter, it'll go to the most recent person you've texted that starts with that letter.
Yeah.
Instead of being, like, alphabetical.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
So is this when you type the name or the number?
Yeah, when you type the name.
Okay, yeah, I have
So, like,
noticed that.
Yeah, and so thankfully, I wasn't trying to sell anyone crack, but
not yet.
I was trying to text Darcy a few days ago a picture of the elf on the shelf that we have, because we're doing that now.
Okay, nice.
Or I'm doing that now. They've been doing it for a few years.
Yeah.
And I took a picture of it sitting on the stairwell.
Yeah.
And I accidentally texted it to my friend Kelly Dearmore, who works for the Dallas Observer.
Yeah.
Now, I unsent it pretty quick, but I was like, dude, sorry. Like, I was trying to text you, but when I typed D, your name somehow was the first one that came up instead of Darcy, because maybe I texted him earlier in that day or something.
Yeah.
And so it's like, I'm just used to, okay, I hit D, that automatically pulls up Darcy, and, I just send. And so now it's like I'm going to have to be more careful with that.
You want me to help you out?
Sure.
Pin. So
no, I've got her pin
at the top.
Yeah.
Oh, what?
But I'm just lazy. Where sometimes I still, hit the little create a text thing.
Oh, okay.
The square with the
yeah
pencil or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah.
See, I don't really use that. I go because I don't really text that many people. I text like my bosses, you, and my girlfriend, and that's like pretty much it.
In that order, I'm sure.
Oh, and my parents, of course. I text my parents too. But I have her pinned at the top just so I can easily click it.
Yeah.
And then send stuff. Because like the rest of it, it's just like, I don't know. It's normally like, hey, can you work this? Hey, can you work that? Hey, can I have some tickets?
I was about to ask if that was one of the things you could ask.
So, the rest of it, I just kind of like leave. But
yeah. No, I need to start doing that. And like, I know that I can. I'm just
remember.
So used to starting a text and then just typing in, the first letter of whoever I'm looking to talk to, and they usually pop up in the first few suggestions. But now that, it's starting to kind of move around a little, like, I can't trust that anymore.
Yeah, I can't trust it. And then lastly here, I want to talk about an observation that you had in Austin and then kind of a question that followed with that.
Yeah, and I did no further research really into this, but I think it's a fun thing to discuss, and maybe we can get a little feedback and get a better idea of it all next week. But like, this happens everywhere, but for whatever reason, when I was driving around in Austin this week for Thanksgiving and all that, I noticed like I was along a street called Bee Cave.
Okay.
And
so it's a cave of bees?
Which scares the hell out of me.
Sounds
I'm allergic.
Terrible. Oh, are you?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
I get the hives.
Like bad?
Like I'll get all even puffier than I normally am.
So if you get stung?
Like, it's not good.
Oh, wow.
Like,
how many times have you been stung by a bee?
Thankfully, I'm not doing something that's kind of like wood. I've only been stung twice, and both times were like 30 years ago, but within like a couple months of each other. So I was really scared of bees for a really long time.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I do need to probably get my EpiPen refilled.
I was gonna ask, so you have like an EpiPen?
I had a prescription for a while. I might need to renew it, but yeah. But anyway,
sorry.
No, you're all good. I like talking about stuff with you.
That's great. I love talking about stuff with you. We should start a podcast.
What? That's crazy.
Let's do it.
Okay. So there was a street called Bee Cave. I'm driving along it, and there's all these different stores. So there's like Bee Cave Market, Bee Cave Bakery, and it just got me thinking, like, where in the process does a business get named? If someone decides to name it after the street that they're on.
Right.
Like you kind of brought up before the show, like Inwood Tavern.
Right.
That makes sense because it's pretty specific to that neighborhood. It's been there a while. Like you want to have it seen as part of the neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes sense for markets, bakeries, whatever, too. But it also just feels really uninventive or uncreative to be like, well, I've got a bakery, but I don't have a great name for it. I'll name it after the street that I was able to get some land on. So I don't know. It just
seems pretty lazy to like name it after
Yeah.
that. But also like, I think it's just like, it's a business owner maybe who is from that area or is like set up in that area, like with a family, and they're like, hey, we're comfortable with just starting a business here.
Mhm.
We're not really looking to expand. But like, if you did expand, like, I mean, Inwood Tavern would probably not make a lot of sense somewhere else, but I would go to an Inwood Tavern off of McKinney.
Right.
Yeah,
I don't think it would prevent you from going or anything like that. It's just
it would just get confusing at that point. We're like, wait, which Inwood Tavern?
Right.
The one on Inwood or the one
Yeah.
off of whatever the other street is?
the one in McKinney that's not on that doesn't have that street name.
Right.
So that's, I guess, another point you brought up was like franchising stuff. Like if you don't care about that, then it makes sense. And like you said, it makes it feel more neighborhoodly.
And I bet,
but it just also feels kind of weird. And I think I just noticed it down there because it was like a string of stores or businesses all named after the street, where it's kind of like, okay, we get it. Like, is this street really that great?
right. Is Bee Cave, so Bee Cave is just a street?
Believe so, yeah.
In like a
or
small
road, like
in a
I don't
small
know,
town or
ish.
Okay, so because you could also just be trying to appeal to like people that live near that street or
Sure.
like
Yeah, like it all makes sense. I think my main thought was just that it feels kind of lazy.
it is definitely lazy.
Just like, most businesses you want to name it after maybe something that means something to you or your last name or
I was gonna ask, what would you name a market? Shippy Market?
yeah. What was the name of the guys that tried to get into Azcrack or whatever?
Oh, yeah, Harry Azcrack.
Harry Azcrack, that's what I'd name it.
All right. Well, I don't know what I would name a market. I think I would just name it Ships Market.
Yeah, there's already Ship's Bar though.
I know.
Yeah.
I like that place a lot.
You should buy
actually.
it.
I want to one day.
If you do, I want to go in.
I don't
I don't have any money, but I want to join.
Okay.
Yay.
That sounds good.
Sweet.
No, I've talked about that before, that I would love to buy that bar, and the times that I've mentioned it, like around people who I guess know whoever owns Ships,
Mhm.
they were like, "Oh, they would never never
it
sell
sounds
to
like
you."
they've definitely got their own thing going. Like,
Yeah.
they got a bunch of regulars. It's I'm not even sure if they have music going or anything. It's just people that are just wanting to sit, have a beer, talk, but not loud, where it's like, if you're coming in looking to get rowdy, they do not tolerate
Yeah.
it, from my understanding.
Oh no, I went one time with my cousin Kevin, and we were rowdy, and I think it was for March Madness, but I'm pretty sure I think they're don't quote me on this. Don't take this as news if you look to social media for your news.
Yeah.
But I think that's a bring your own liquor spot. Like they have beer. I think you can
Yeah.
bring your own liquor, because I think I remember my cousin bringing like a bottle of Tito's or something. I was
Damn.
like, we're going to a bar.
You're bringing sand to the beach.
You're bringing sand to the beach. What's going on? So,
anyways,
I'm gonna buy Ships now.
just out of spite.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get rowdy in here no matter what.
Yeah. And I'm gonna change Rowdy's jersey number to a star.
God, that is a good idea.
I thought so.
Yeah.
Hit me up, Jerry.
Yeah, Jerry.
It's just a very small fee that you can take my idea.
Yeah. Give Jerry Jr. the star.
Did you have anything else you want to talk about?
Not really.
All right. Well, that'll do it for episode number 17 of Shippy and Grubes. I'm Shippy.
I'm Grubes.
And we appreciate you joining us. Thank you to Stolen Water Media for putting this on. As always, thank you to Ashley for making us sound good and making us all look good. And thank you to everybody for listening. And good luck out there to everyone.
Everyone.
except Rowdy.
Yeah. Why is Mr. Gee barking?
I don't know. He peed on me earlier.
That was hot.
This is a Stolen Water Media production.